Okay, I did the carriage lock, and I think it was George G. suggested that the quarter 20 wasn't going to be adequate to hold that block, and I agree totally after seeing the stresses that are put on it. So I have some 5/16, 18 I think it is. The tapping drill is the letter F, 11/32 is the through hole. So I'm going to take one of the quarter 20 cap head screws out, and I'm going to take my F drill and drill into the casting. And then I'm going to take the block off and finish drilling that. And then I'm going to do the through holes through the block, take it back over, mount it, take the other, then drill a hole for the other little 5/16. Take out, yeah, drill the hole for the other 5/16, 18, and like I say, get the drill going into the cast most of the way, using that block as a guide. Maybe even using that block as a tap guide as well. That's not a bad idea at all. Go ahead and drill that through hole before I. So I'll drill the F drill into the cast through the block. And then I'll leave the block on there and get the tap started through the block. And after I get a 1/4 inch of threads or so, a good start, then I'll take the block off and drill the through holes, mount it up, and do the same thing for the other hole. Yeah. So what I'm replacing, let me grab this. There goes my center punch. And I'm also going to replace, where is my locking bar? Here it is. Okay, this is my locking bar as it sits now, as it lays on the floor. Okay, now this, wow, this tended to want to, as it was traversing, it tended to want to walk around a little bit. And adjusting the spring tension would probably help with that. I did go out and buy a bunch of springs, and I cut a few of them, and it turns out that the copper spring that I made is, at least with this bar, working out the best. But anyway, I'm replacing this one with this one. Had this in my drawer. It is the perfect length. It is almost a 1/2 inch longer than this one, which tells me this one was too short. This also is just about the perfect thickness. Now I may have to do like a, talking carpentry terms, do like a rabbet joint here. Just make a little ledge, but I'm not going to do that. I'll only do that if I have to. First thing I'll do is kind of round these edges off. And I'll definitely do that. Just kind of put a radius on that. So, without showing you the lathe, that's what I'm going to do. And there's a reason I'm not showing you the lathe, I guess. I guess wet paint doesn't photograph well. Okay, this is going to be my third attempt to say, thanks George W. Is it even George W? See, I'm all screwed up. He suggested that I go with something George W. Wukowski. He suggested I get rid of those 1/4-20 screws in my carriage lock. And I went with a 5/16. I had a couple stainless 5/16 cap head screws. And when I drove that first one in, I could tell it was so much better. And with the second one in there, I could lift the machine with that block, I think. So thanks, George. Really appreciate your advice. There it is. Like I said, I think we could put a hook in there and pick this baby right up. Now I got a little fit problem. I need to get my piece down here and drop this thing on there and make a little mark in it and tell me where to drill my hole at, but I don't like all this. Now I got another one of these little things with a pointy thing on it. Transfer punch maybe. I got another one that almost, I mean, it would be a pressed fit, a light pressed fit. So I'm going to see if my an adjustable reamer or something close to that, I can just open that up a hair and use the next size up transfer punch. That's what they're called. So I got transfer screws and then transfer punches. Okay. I'm running the cutter grinder. Okay. Wow, it's 7 o'clock in 16 seconds. It'll be 7 o'clock a.m. Hi, baby. And I've had some company out in the shop tonight. Come here. Oh, come here, sleeper. She's a little freaked out when you hold her. Huh? Yeah. New and improved carriage lock. I actually never even got to use the first version, but George W. Wukowski or George W. That's close enough, if that's even correct. He suggested I get rid of the 1/4-20s and beef that up a little bit. I did. Driving the first cap head screw in there of 5/16, I think. There's already tell a gigantic difference in rigidity. And after thinking about how much pressure is on that, yeah, 1/4-20s weren't gonna be lead to any kind of success. So we just finished up. I borrowed a knob and an arm from the mini lathe, little red, to finish it up. But you can see here on little red's on the tailstock, I got a similar situation. So let's roll over here and see what Peach is doing. Hey, Peach. Yeah. You'll always find those dogs in close proximity to the heaters. Is that as good as I can do? Yeah, we can get closer than that. There it is. So we got the copper spring that I made. So now it's freed up. Well, let's see what I did to improve it, first of all. I went to a larger locking bar. There's the original, about 1 inch wide. So I went to 1 3/4, I think. That's greater than that. Hope somebody gives me a shit for using a tape measure. Yeah, 1 3/4. Probably by 3/4. So right now we're in free position. We travel. Make a little more travel room here. Travel is unencumbered. It rides well in a relaxed state. And that is locked. I can't tighten it any tighter than that. So I'm obviously very psyched about that. This is where Bozo was in the shop. I threatened to fill that in with some JB Weld, sand over it and paint it. Yeah, that's it right there. That's a I think a 5/16 threaded hole for that knob. I got all excited. I needed the F drill for the bring it back in the picture here. I needed the F drill for my tapping drill, and I grabbed my I have 3 little tubes with letter drills in them. I grabbed the one that has F in it, and I just took a drill out of it, chucked it up, and drilled. Right or wrong, obviously it was wrong. So I got a nice big hole over here. I could probably get, I'm not sure what size that would be, but bigger than 5/16. I think what I probably ended up drilling was a through hole for 5/16. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy about that. Now all we have to do is get the frickin' crossfeed clutch freed up. And I'm not gonna sweat it, it'll happen. Like I said before, bigger bozos than me have been operating this machine since 1942. And this machine survived all of them. I doubt if I can do well, I could probably come up with something new, you never know. Okay, that should be edited. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Pete, you're acting, you're so pathetic. Yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for the comments. You know, without those comments, I probably would have been content with the first version of that. And, you know, it might have worked for a while. I think eventually it would have loosened up and caused problems. So, you know, thanks to George, we got the thing corrected. And I'm like getting over excited. My wife would say I'm obsessed. I say, get over it. But this baby is run tonight. We dressed the wheel. So here's the setup here for, whether I'm right or wrong, this is the setup for polishing up this brazed on carbide. And you tell me I can't do it and this and that. I was told this wheel would do it. And we're not going to grind a new tool, we're just going to touch it up a little bit. Got a respirator. It's so freaking cool. Because all I have to do to run that is unplug this. And plug in this. And I'm ready to go in the other room. Like and subscribe, tell a buddy, bring a friend.